Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to this channel, we are the channel that talks positive about all of your fandoms. And if that's something that appeals to you, you've come to the right place. We're so happy you stopped by. Today also happens to be Terrifying Tuesday on this channel where we talk about all things horror. And today we have to talk about Strangers Chapter 2 and the reshoots that are happening. Is this good? Is this bad? Let's jump right into it. All right, so we've already had 3 Strangers movies, basically. And the first Strangers movie was pretty good. The second one that we had sort of killed the franchise for a little bit. And then we got Strangers Chapter 1. And this is basically a trilogy of films that has been split into 3 parts. So it begins with Chapter 1. And Chapter 2 is coming up. And basically, this is the thing that's happened with this now. Renny Harlin has begun to address that they have done some reshoots on this film. And they've done reshoots based on audience reaction. Now, I have a whole issue with this, but we'll get into that in a little bit. First, we need to understand what exactly was said. So according to Bloody Disgusting, Renny Harlin addressed the Strangers Chapter 2 reshoots based on Chapter 1 reaction. At the Strangers Chapter 2 panel at San Diego Comic-Con, Renny Harlin himself had addressed the reshoots the film underwent, although the director prefers to call them enhancements. Purely from listening to the audience, the first movie came out and we got a lot of feedback from fans and regular moviegoers, Harlin told the crowd. We realized that while we crafted this 4.5-hour movie that we broke into 3 chapters, there was definitely room for learning from the audience experience and listening to the fact that the audience was interested in some things that we were not exploring enough yet. One of the things that the people wanted to know more about is the strangers. We are not saying their names and we are not saying where they live and if they like lasagna. I like that. That's funny. He's not going to say who they are, where they live, or if they like lasagna. I like that statement. I find that to be humorous. He goes on to say, but we are showing some glimpses of their history in the movie, which I think deepens those characters, makes them more interesting, but doesn't take away from the fact that these are real people. They could be anyone around us, and the killings are totally random. Harlin continues by saying, to be able to go back and explore those things that you couldn't do before and have a little bit more time with your actors and the visuals that you want to create and the kinds of scares you realize really work so well and so on is an incredible privilege. He concludes by saying, I don't call it reshoots because that's not what it was about. It was about adding and enhancing the experience. Then the producer, Courtney Solomon, added that the second film in the trilogy was finished, complete with color correction, sound mix, and visual effects, when the studio granted them additional funding for the enhancements. The Strangers trilogy was originally filmed simultaneously over 52 days, but the additional shoot for the second and third installments brought the shoot up to a total of 80 days. Harlin also commented on Stranger Chapter 2's similarities to Halloween 2, another hospital set slasher film, which horror fans were quick to point out after seeing the trailer. He continues by saying, I have to confess that, of course, I saw Halloween 2. But when we were making this movie, I didn't remember that it had this whole big hospital thing in it. I swear to God, I'm so sure it was somewhere in the back of my mind, but it wasn't intentional. He adds, we felt it was a fantastic environment to explore, and we are going to explore this hospital in some very new and frightening ways. And Solomon noted that Chapter 3 is on pace to be completed around the same time as Chapter 2's release. So the wait for the trilogy's conclusion should be much shorter than the break between the first two entries. Okay, so let's get into this a little bit, because this is sort of where we're at. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Is it good that they listened to the fans about what the fans wanted and did some reshoots or some enhancements to kind of correct that and go with it? Yes and no, because this could be a double-edged sword. As a writer, you are told basically to write for yourself. Don't write for anyone else. Write for yourself. And I feel that anytime that people turn in a project and they turn it in and it gets made, they should stand by that. However, there is room for criticism, there's room for discussion, and there's room for improvement as always. So if this was simply a matter of fact that the audience said, hey, we would really rather have seen more of this, and it was something they were already doing, then this isn't a bad thing at all. And that's kind of the impression I get here. Now, if it turns out that this is a very different film from what they originally intended it to be, then of course, then I have a problem with it, because I believe that every actor, writer, director, and producer should always 1000% stand by whatever it is that they are doing. And if Renny Harlin has sort of decided to cater to the fans rather than to his original vision, then that makes me sad for him. But if the fact of the matter is that they started to explore this stuff and he thought, hey, let's dive a little bit deeper. There's some things I wanted to show I kind of took out and we can sort of continue this, then that's not bad. And that's really what it comes down to with this reshoot situation is The Strangers Chapter 2 needs to be whatever it was supposed to be. I do find it amusing that he addressed that, yes, he has seen Halloween 2. We've all seen Halloween 2. I do, however, believe his statement that he didn't think about Halloween 2 when they were writing it and when they were taking care of this filming process. I believe that what he said there is true. But once you see the finished product and once you knew what was going down, you kind of had to have known that it was going to get that comparison. So yeah, you have to accept that he already knew there would be that comparison, but I do find that interesting because if you're writing something, you don't think about what was done in the past until after you write it. And then all of a sudden you're looking back and you're going, whoa, yeah, this is going to get compared to that. And then you have a choice to make. Do you continue on with it like that? Or do you trash that and then go ahead and reboot your entire project? And I respect him for keeping it the way it was and us getting to see this hospital stuff in this movie. I think that's going to be very intriguing, and I'm not going to walk in ready to compare it scene for scene, frame by frame with anything that Halloween has ever done. I'm not going to do that because that's a very different director, a very different situation, and it looks like this movie's going to be good. But I am worried about some fans saying how these reshoots are a bad thing because I don't believe they are. The only way that you will find me saying that these reshoots are a complete and utter travesty is if it gets out that the fans demanded that certain scenes be changed and he catered to them. Because we as fans, we have a lot of expectations. We do. We really do. We have a lot of expectations about what we want to see in the movie, what we want to see these characters do, how we want these characters to react to certain things, and that's not always the best thing for the movie. There's a reason that we're not the writers of these movies. It's because the person that wrote these movies knows what it entails and they know what it is. So I don't think that this whole reshoot thing, this enhancement thing is bad at all. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that if it is at the suggestion of fans that he adds stuff back in that he was thinking about putting in or explores more, maybe he went home and said, oh, they're right, I want to add this in, then that's not catering to the fans necessarily. It's only if you reshoot everything to cater to those fans. And I don't think that's what's done here. So I don't think that this is a bad thing. I actually think this movie has a lot of potential to take this franchise into a brand new era, a brand new life of its own. Very different from what we originally thought the Strangers franchise would ever be. But that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. How do you feel about this whole enhancement thing? Do you think it's a good thing, bad thing? Do you think they catered to the fans, or do you think this was something they were thinking about, that when the fans said they wanted to see more of, they said, okay, let's go ahead and film this? How do you feel this all went down, and do you feel it's better for it or worse for it? Whatever you guys are thinking, I definitely want to hear from you guys. So make sure you're leaving me that comment in the comment box below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of this conversation. Then friends, that like button is there for the algorithm, and we could definitely use more likes. Keep that algorithm coming if you like this sort of content, talking positive about all of your fandoms. And then go ahead, if you're watching and you're enjoying, you might as well hit that subscribe button while you're there. Go ahead and hit that notification bell as well. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it and you know it, fandom is family.